All right, Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushua, Bahashim, Rakakwadash. I want to give double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, and grace and peace to you elect around the four winds, believing and pushing this truth in all sincerity. May the blessing of election be upon your houses. This is your fellow servant, Rokoyer from the GMS Orlando camp, coming at you with another impromptu lesson. All right, the title of tonight's lesson is Escaping the Western Mentality. All right, escaping the Western mentality. And tonight's lesson comes off the behest of a conversation I had with one of my so-called family members today on my way home from work. And he was one of the family members that came up against me hard, when I first was learning about the truth. And, I told my family I wasn't celebrating Christmas, and, I told them the truth about the Bible. He was one of the ones that came up against me hard. And, he just called me out of the blue today on my way home from work. And he was expressing how, he's been trying to get a deeper relationship with God, as he says. And he's been reading the Bible. And he said at first he didn't understand, what I was talking about. But now he said, now I fully understand. Now I fully understand what you were talking about, and why you did some of the things that you did, why you separated yourself, and why you don't celebrate these holidays and different stuff. He's like, I understand it completely, but he's going off, he's reading the book of Jasher, the book of Enoch, and all that kind of madness. But, he was saying how, I see it, I see it fully. And he was expressing how, because he was a hard down Christian his whole life, as long as I know him, and he was expressing how, as he's reading the Bible, there's things that we aren't taught here in the West that the Bible expresses that you won't know when you're in these churches, as long as you're in these churches, because they don't teach you that mentality. They don't teach you that way of life, those customs, and the Bible was written from an Eastern point of view, as a people, as Israelites, all right, which today consists of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and American Indians. All right, as Israelites, all right, we have an Eastern heritage. Our culture comes from that side of the world. The austereness, the certain particulars that are in our customs and in our traditions and nature. All right, stem from that side of the world. Where you have Ishmael, still keeping those ways somewhat. All right, that way of life is ours. That way of life is ours. They copied it, and they're doing a terrible job mimicking, what was given to us as a heritage. But, I wanted to get into these precepts, man, because, what the truth is doing is it's helping us shed this Western mentality, this garbage mentality, that we've known all our lives. This American mentality that we've known all our life. What the Bible was doing through the Spirit and power of Yahweh by Shem Yahushai is helping us shed that toxic mentality, that wicked mentality. I want to start off here in John 8. And let's see. This is John chapter 8 and verse 32. It reads, and ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. All right, and as the truth has been, made privy to us through the Spirit and power of Yahweh by Shem Yahushai, all right, we've been made free from the bonds of this world. All right, we've been made free from the imaginations of this world, and brought under the yoke of Yahushai. All right, this is Second Corinthians 10 and verse 4. It says, "For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through the heavenly Father to the pulling down of strongholds, casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of the Heavenly Father." All right, and that's what the truth has done. All right, it's made us free. It's cast down all these imaginations, all right, that we've learned here in America, Babylon the Great, which are heavy delusions. You know, the mentality that's taught here, the way of life, the customs, the traditions that are taught here in Babylon the Great are heavy imaginations, are heavy illusions, you know, which only the truth of the Bible can break, you know, which only the truth of the Bible can bring you out of, you know, and that's exactly what it's done. It's helped us escape this Western mentality. I mean, this Western mentality. All right, because the Western mentality is to let the woman rule over the man, you know, for men to be docile, which is one of the things that he was expressing in our conversation, you know, especially when it comes to Christianity. He was like, I feel as if, you know, they tell you certain things about the Bible because they want you to be docile and they want you to listen, which is something that, you know, brothers say every single weekend. It's nothing new, you know, but he's just coming to that realization, you know, and it's true. You know, a lot of these doctrines, you know, well, all of these doctrines, you know, outside of the truth, are really put in place, you know, to throw you Israelites off, you know, to throw you Israelites off your square and to keep you docile and in a stupor, especially Christianity. Christianity keeps you docile, keeps you passive, it keeps you, you know, in a holding place, whereas the truth, you know, sets you free. The truth makes you start to ask questions. You know, it sets you free from the imaginations of this world, and it makes you think on a higher plane. It makes you think on a higher level. You know, the Western mentality, the mentality taught here is low level thinking. You know, to glorify sex, money, drugs, you know, debauchery, you know, wickedness, adultery, you know, killings. That's the way of life here in America, Babylon the Great, to glorify these things, you know, and to shame things that the Lord sees fit, you know, to take place and to take standard in the planet Earth. That's the way of life, and that's the mentality here. To put it in a nutshell, to think, to put it in a nutshell, to abide by your lust, to appease your five senses. You know, and the Lord is allowing us to shed that mentality. Once again, this is 2 Corinthians 10 and verse 4. "For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through the Heavenly Father to the pulling down of strongholds, casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of the Heavenly Father, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Hamashiach." All right, and our thoughts have been brought under the obedience of Yahweh Shai. All right, Yahweh Shai has laid hold on our minds, which is a beautiful thing. The Lord has laid hold on our mind, you know, through the receiving of this truth. You know, therefore we're allowed, or we're able. Excuse me, I just got some notifications on my phone. Therefore we're able, you know, to escape this Western mentality, man. You know, and this video will be 2 days, hell, a couple of weeks long, you know, if we were to get into, you know, all the ways of the West that are wrong, you know, but brothers name it every single weekend. You know, this feminism movement, you know, single parent households being incentivized, adultery being incentivized, you know, the changing of kind being incentivized, you know, the ability for children to rule over their parents, you know, the ability for women to rule over men, you know, the men being docile and the feminine being incentivized, you know, all Western mentalities and all Western ways of life that not only we are waking up to, but the world is waking up to. And that's why it's a huge push, you know, against Babylon the Great, because everybody's starting to realize what this place is about, you know, what this place and the rulers that be truly, you know, are doing. which is pushing wickedness and their agenda, you know, to destroy everything in this path, man. You know, especially you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and the American Indians, man. But, you know, this is, you know, this part is essential. You know, bringing your mind under the rule of Yahweh Shai. You know, bringing your mind and your thoughts, you know, under the banner of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, because therein, you know, we're able to understand the Bible. Because the only way that you're able to understand the Bible itself is by adopting a certain mindset. That's why the Lord is you know, that's why the Lord works the way he works. You know, that's why the Lord separates us from this world, you know, when we receive this truth. It allows us to grow, and it allows us to adopt, you know, the proper mindset. It allows us to see with clear vision, you know, what's going on. You know, there are certain traditions, you know, that we kept that this world will never understand, like the land Sabbath, you know, or the reason not to pull your head, you know, or the Elder Yashwama goes into it all the time. You know, back in our culture, it was customary for men to dance with men during parties and women to dance with women, you know, to keep that whole thing separate and to keep, you know, any you know, inkling of adultery or, you know, wickedness, to keep wickedness from, you know, creeping up. You know, and other men looking at other men's wives, and women, you know, looking at other men that aren't their husbands. You know, keep that wantonness at an all-time low. You know, just say it like that. You know, or them rock showers. You know, for committing adultery. You know, them rock showers for committing adultery. Or Deuteronomy 22. You know, which is a huge controversy amongst Israelites. You know, the way to handle, you know, Deuteronomy 22. If a woman were to get seized, you know, what would happen according to our laws? You know, how you would handle that, how you're supposed to handle that according to the standard of the Lord. It's very controversial because this world has a Western mentality. It doesn't have the proper mentality, you know, given to us from the Lord from the foundation. But you know, that's really all I had to say, Lord. I'm edifying unto you elect. Just want to come with this quick impromptu lesson, man. You know, shedding or escaping the Western mentality is key, especially when it comes to understanding the Bible, you know, and certain customs and certain ways of life, you know. And once you shed that mentality through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, things become more clear. You know, they become crystal clear. You know, and why men move the way they move, you know, and why things are the way they are. It becomes crystal clear. You know, but first that mentality has to be shed, and that comes through the receiving of this truth, you know, through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. You know, as the Lord sups with us, he opens up our mind, you know, to the truth, you know, and our ability to comprehend it, understand it, and also teach it if it's, you know, if that's a part of our lot. But yeah, I got one more actually. This is Romans chapter 12 and verse 2. It says, "And be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of the Heavenly Father." All right, and what the Lord has done is he's renewed our minds, you know, through his Spirit. He's renewed our minds. All right, he's given us a refreshing of mind, you know, so that we might prove what is that good and acceptable unto him. All right, therefore we're not conformed to this world. You know, we're not bound to this world mentally, spiritually, or emotionally. All right, rather we're bound to the yoke of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, mentally, spiritually, emotionally. All right, and we're able to take on and glean the truth off the scriptures, man. But yeah, man, that's really all I had to say, man. Lord, when this is edifying once again, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem Rokakwadash, and double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Grace and peace to you elect around the four winds, believing and pushing this truth in all sincerity. May the blessing of election be upon your houses. Shalom. Stay up.